Hi guys, welcome back to the Cocktail Blog. I'm Steve the bartender and today is National Daiquiri Day. So I'm celebrating by making 5 unique daiquiris or daiquiri variations. So I wanted to be a little bit different rather than doing fruit flavored daiquiris and classic daiquiris, strawberry daiquiris, frozen daiquiris, banana daiquiris, which are all very great in their own right. Be a little bit more unique and create a few drinks that you probably haven't heard of before. So hopefully you enjoy and make sure you watch it to the end because I'm really excited about that last one. So first up, I'm going to make the most common of all of them, being the Hemingway Special or the Hemingway Daiquiri. It goes by both names, and this one was first created for Ernest Hemingway at La Floridita, a bar in Cuba. So I'm going to be using a Cuban rum. I believe you guys in the States don't actually have Cuban rum. I'm boycotted, yeah? Let me know in the comments below. So this is one of Hemingway's favorites. Apparently he enjoyed it so much, he often ordered doubles, and it also got the nickname Papa Doble. So I don't really think you need to make a double because it already has over 2 shots of rum in it. So this is going to be plenty. So we're going to start off with Cuban rum and measure out 60 ml, 2 ounces. Followed by Maraschino Liqueur, so 7.5 mils, 1/4 ounce. So this is a maraschino cherry and grapefruit twist on the classic daiquiri recipe. Then we've got fresh grapefruit juice, 22.5 mil, 3/4 ounce. So it's up to you which type of grapefruit you prefer to use. Supposedly, normal white grapefruit is more bitter than the ruby and the pink grapefruit. I'm using ruby red grapefruit, but the white grapefruits that I have access to are actually really sweet. So I'm going to stick with the ruby red today, but completely up to you. And then I'm going to follow that with fresh lime juice, 15 ml, 1/2 ounce. And last of all, 7.5 mils, 1/4 ounce of your 1:1 simple syrup. So apparently Hemingway was a diabetic, so he actually liked it without the sugar, but this is a more popular version that everyone seems to like, so that's what I'm going to make for you today. So add ice to your Boston glass and give it a quick shake for 12 seconds. I should note as well, I always double strain my juices, my grapefruit juice and my lime juice at the time of juicing, so I don't usually double strain. If you prefer, I know a lot of people call me out, if you prefer to double strain, it's completely up to you. So strain it into your chilled coupe glass, Nick and Nora, martini glass, and garnish with a grapefruit twist. There you have the Hemingway Daiquiri. So on to daiquiri riff number 2, Mr. Howell. So Mr. Howell is one of 6 daiquiri variations that is featured in Kerry Jones' book, The Brooklyn Bartender. I will leave a link to that in the description below. So this has got the addition of a Islay whiskey, so it's going to add some smokiness to it, and then complemented with some rich maple syrup. Make sure you get a good quality maple syrup. Last time I bought one, it was shite. Whilst the recommended rum is Floridita 4-year-old, which is a gold rum, I'm going to be using a Jamaican aged rum, and this just goes to show that you can substitute your rums and it's still going to work quite well. So we're going to start off with 45 mils of your preferred rum, 1.5 ounces. Add that straight into your cocktail shaker, followed by your PT whiskey. So I'm using Lafroig, 15 mil, 1/2 ounce. Definitely going to add a lot of smoke to this daiquiri. And then 22.5 mil, 3/4 ounce of fresh lime juice, and 15 mil, 1/2 ounce of maple syrup. Give it a shake for 12 seconds and strain into a chilled glass. Nice and simple garnish, just a lime wheel. And there you have the Mr. Howell. So on to daiquiri variation number 3, I'm making the Paddington. So apparently David Slate was the first hired bartender at PDT Cocktail Bar in New York City. They've actually got a giant bear in there and his nickname is Paddington. So David created a cocktail based on Paddington's favorite ingredient, which is orange marmalade. This has been on almost every PDT menu that they've released, so it must be pretty damn good. They did call for a different rum, but I'm substituting for Angostura, which is a 3-year-old rum. So first of all, start with your rum and measure out 45 ml or 1.5 ounces. Add that straight into your cocktail shaker and follow that with Lillet Blanc, 15 ml, half an ounce. And fresh lemon juice. And yes, I said lemon juice, it's not lime juice, unlike a classic daiquiri. 15 ml, half an ounce. Followed by your choice of grapefruit juice. Same again. 15 ml, half an ounce. And a bar spoon of that orange marmalade. So give it a shake for 12 seconds and strain into your chilled cocktail glass. So this one has an absinthe rinse, so it's going to add some anise notes, some very subtle anise notes to your drink. You can either add a couple of drops to your glass and give it a rinse, or if you've got an atomizer, just give it a quick spray. And strain it straight into the glass. I knew it was going to come up short because this is actually a massive glass, but I think it still looks quite pretty. There you have the Paddington. On to daiquiri riff number 4, the Royal Bermuda Yacht Club. So this is Trader Vic's essentially teakified version of a daiquiri. The reason it is teakified is that it's got orange curacao and orange liqueur. If you don't have Pierre Ferrand, which is the one I'm going to be using today, you can substitute it for either a triple sec, Cointreau, or Grand Marnier. Depends what you have at home. And also it includes a falernum, which is a spiced syrup. Very, very common ingredient for tiki cocktails. So first you want to start with your Caribbean rum. So you can use El Dorado 5-year, Mount Gay Eclipse, or in my case I'm using a Jamaican rum, Appleton Estate. So 60 ml, 2 ounces. Then follow that up with your orange curacao, 7.5 ml, 1/4 ounce. Then fresh lime juice, 22.5 ml, 3/4 ounce. And last ingredient, your falernum, 15 ml, half an ounce. And for those that can't understand me, and I do tend to mumble a little bit, don't forget that every single video I do, you can always find the full recipe in the description below. So now with this one, fill your Boston glass full of ice and then give it a shake for 12 seconds. And then strain into your chilled stemmed cocktail glass. Me personally, I love using Nick and Nora glasses. I'll leave a link to those in the description below. By this time, I'm going to have a lot of links down there, so all the important information, useful links, check the description. So strain into that chilled glass. And garnish with a lime wheel. There you have the Royal Bermuda Yacht Club. Cheers. Last but not least, the PX Daiquiri. For those that don't know what PX is, or what it stands for, it's Pedro Jimenez, which is a style of sherry. It's a sweeter style. It's got notes of dried fruit, spices, and molasses. So this is going to partner up very well with a rum. The original recipe does call for a rum agricole. For those that aren't familiar with rum agricole, it's made from sugarcane juice as opposed to rum, which is made from molasses. So it's going to give it a little bit of a different flavor profile. I don't have any rum agricole, so I'm going to substitute for Angostura. I'm going to use a white rum. I feel like it's got enough dried fruit and spices in the Pedro Jimenez and enough sweetness, so I'd prefer to use a white rum to really bolster up this daiquiri. So nice, simple, the only three ingredient daiquiri we've got on the list today. I'm going to measure out 45 ml, so 1.5 ounces. Rum agricole, or whatever rum you have around the house, followed by 22.5 ml, 3/4 ounce of your Pedro Jimenez sherry. So that's replacing the sugar component of a classic 3 ingredient daiquiri. And last of all, your fresh lime juice, 22.5 ml, 3/4 ounce. Add ice to your cocktail shaker, give it a 12-second shake, and you're good to go. Now strain it into your chilled cocktail glass. And as you can see, that Pedro Jimenez gives it a really dark, rich texture and color to it. And given that it's got a lot of spices and dried fruit notes to the PX, it's garnished with grated nutmeg. So there you have the PX daiquiri. So there you have 5 daiquiri variations for National Daiquiri Day. Let me know which one you would prefer and how you'd celebrate your daiquiri day. In the past, anytime I've done a compilation video, I haven't actually run through and done all the tastings side by side, and I've had a lot of feedback from those videos. People love the compilations, but I don't do the tastings, and makes people angry. So today's the day, and I get to enjoy all 5 of these. And yes, every cocktail that I do make, nothing gets thrown out after I finish filming. I always do a tasting personally. So there you have a Hemingway special or a Hemingway daiquiri. This has long been a favorite of mine. I haven't actually tried these other 4 except for the Royal Bermuda Yacht Club, but I do love the maraschino notes in this and the grapefruit. Like tart and zippy, like a classic daiquiri as well, but you've just got those maraschino notes, and that works really, really well. Next up, the Mr. Howell. So it's got the peaty whiskey, the Islay whiskey, so it's going to add some smoky notes to it, which I think is going to be very, very different and quite interesting going with a rum and going in a daiquiri. And you can definitely get that smoke on the nose. Same again, tart, zippy, but you've just got this subtle variation. You've got that smoke to it. I'd say this is probably like quite a good winter daiquiri. Next up, the Paddington with the orange marmalade. Just drop that in there. Cheers. It's not as tangy. I think the Lillet kind of softens it a little bit. It's very easy to drink. It's just a little bit lighter and less citrusy. And next up, the Royal Bermuda Yacht Club. Cheers. %, that is a tiki-fied version. You get the spices from the falernum and a strong orange flavor as well. So if you love tiki drinks, you love tropical, boozy rum cocktails, then that's definitely one for you. Lastly, the PX daiquiri. Cheers. Obviously you got the nutmeg on the top, so you get that spice, you get the aroma. Probably the sweetest of them all. That Pedro Jimenez adds a lot of spices and sort of dried fruit That it actually goes down really well. Again, that's another really good winter daiquiri. So, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that bell button, and I'll see you soon for another cocktail video. Happy National Daiquiri Day. Cheers.